wonderful ups and downs. All right, so we're recording now, so I'm going to go ahead and start with my ups and downs. You've already got a piece of my background of my battle scars, but much like you guys, like my parents were both overweight. In fact, the last time I tried to lose weight, or I tried and was successful, I had hired a personal trainer. I was watching everything I ate, and then I went home and everybody like made fun of me hardcore. I tried to make dinner and like they would make the dinner fatty, like they would be adding like the butter and all the like preservatives, and I almost died. And then my family didn't support me at all, so I gained all the weight back. And then kind of found Beachbody, and I feel like it kind of gave me the balance because my parents are a lot better now that they come visit, because I'm like, it's a lifestyle change, like a week's not going to kill me, and they really appreciate that. But in terms of the business, I've gone through a lot of ups and downs. Some even like Jaylene and Jen don't know about. I started back in September, so a year ago actually, from like last week. I signed up and all I wanted was like the discount. And that's what I did for the first like 3 or 4 months, 4 months. By then Jaylene had joined and like had already hit Emerald, and I was like, well, what the hell? Like, why can't I hit Emerald? And Jen's like, well, for one, you're not doing anything. I mean, just throwing that out there. And so I decided to start doing something, but I wasn't like fully committed to it. Like it was kind of like, okay, well, there was a team cup in February, so I hit SC there, but I like still didn't fully understand what the coaching could do for me. And so it was kind of like this half-ass thing. And March, with everything that was happening with my house, I won't go into that because that's a totally different story, but there was a lot going on in March that I felt so low and frustrated that I was posting so much that I was losing my mind. I told Jen, I was like, I cannot post 5 times a day. This is insane. I was so focused on that all I could do was like PIO. That's all I had energy for. Like I had originally set out to do like combat. My challenge group sucked. Like it was so quiet and terrible. And I literally remember thinking to myself, if I don't hit Emerald in April, I'm out of here. Like I'm so done. Like I'll keep getting the discount because I love Shakeology, but I'm going to give up. Like I can't even like fathom this. That was March for me. And then April came around and I was like, you know what? If I don't hit it by the end of April, like, then that's it. I'm out. But if I'm going to say that I'm going to hit this, then I'm going to really put forth that effort. And so all of a sudden I went from 0 coaches to 4 coaches, and it just kind of built this momentum. But then there's always these lows where I'm like, well, now I've ate like shit all summer and I've totally lost my schedule and now I have to go back to work. And so I actually kind of feel like I'm back in a low right now. And working my way back up to high because I just did the refresh. I'm on the last day now, and I kind of feel like I've remastered that mindset. But what's always kept me going is knowing how I felt back then before I started Beachbody and having that really strong why. And knowing that like I was unhappy, I was depressed all the time, including back in March, like, you know, and just keeping that motivation to keep myself moving forward, that if nothing else happens, if no one hops on with me, if no one does a challenge group, I'm doing this because I feel better. And when I can change that mindset, that's when the highs start coming back. So hopefully you'll see that this week because I'm coming out of the low right now. But it's a constant up and down. And I remember saying to Jaylene, like, and Jen, why can't it just be all highs? And Jaylene was like, because if you never have the lows, you're not going to have those highs. It's just going to be meh, kind of whatever. So knowing that and just being able to, the biggest thing I can say is just holding on to that why and never giving up on it. It has to be stronger than any excuse you can ever come up with. And write it down and look at it every day so that you see it and you can continue to go back on the up. So that's my story in short. Zap, Jaylene.
It's funny because it's so funny even watching Jenna, because I had a totally different perspective than even what she's saying tonight, because I think, again, we're always so hard on ourselves. Jenna was a rock star. She was posting. It just took a little longer for her friends to connect. And I remember her talking about that and being just so frustrated. My friends aren't joining me yet. It's like, give it time, because and even for me, and one of the things I have like in big bold letters on my notes is no comparing, because I find that so often that, I'll look at Bonnie Ingold, or I'll look at all these coaches, or even in our Dynasty group, and they're posting these questions and posting these things. And it's like, for heaven's sakes, there's another girl that went diamond in 27 days. And it's like, I find myself sometimes comparing and then getting frustrated and then getting down. And I have to remind myself that, this is my journey. This is my story. This is my business. I don't have the luxury of being home and being a stay-at-home mom. I'm doing this while working 2 other jobs. This is my story. And it's also not just comparing right now, but it's also keeping in mind 2 to 3 years from now. Keeping in mind, for example, 5 years from now. Those are the coaches that are being successful. Those are the coaches that when it came time to almost quitting, they didn't. They kept going. And what they found is when they kept going, their business went to a different level. And that is definitely a theme that I've noticed when I've listened to these veterans that are on these calls and are talking. This is not just, 2 months and yay, I'm a rock star. These are coaches that have done this for a really long time. And that's where it's like, what are they doing? And those are the ones running some of these big groups. I mean, that's the Coach Basics that Jen's doing. That's coming from these coaches that gone to the leadership retreat and basically gave Beachbody their template, and so it's going back to the basics. And even Jen talked to me because I'm still kind of in a low, like I was plateauing, but I still only have 1 SC point. And so that's my low, which is crazy because I was 9 in the Beachbody. I was number 9. So how does that happen? Which I'm going to get to in a minute. And that's my other part of my high and low. So one, it's just, it's going back to the basics, and being okay with that, refreshing yourself, sharing another part of your story, doing your post, and just being you, and just, my goal is still to hit that goal this month, and I'm frustrated that I'm not there yet, but I'm not giving up. I still have until September 30th, 9 p.m., and then I'll be done, and then wherever I am, I'll either lay it to rest or I'll be cheering with a glass of wine in my hand and ready to move on to the next month. But I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep trying. And my other low, because what you guys need to understand is I had a huge low this summer. So I was hitting the Girl Boss top 10 a couple times. And by the time I hit it, I think the 3rd time, Katie, who's the head, Katie Hefner, who's our major star upline, she messaged me. She's like, hey, guess what? And I'm like, what? She's like, you're number 1. And I started crying. And I'm talking to her, and I'm like, can I ask you something personal? Like, can I ask you a question? And I'm like, I'm hitting these, but I'm not getting coaches. I'm not like everyone else. I'm not wrapping them in. I feel like I'm not doing something right, and I'm frustrated. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I don't deserve the number 1 spot. I got to that point, and she's like, honestly, it seems like you've got HD customers, right? I'm like, yeah. She's like, I bet that's been a really good income for you, and that's where my volume is. It's the volume. That got me number 1, was my returning HD customers that didn't want to coach. That was my low. They said no to the discount. They said no. And my high was I hit number 1 in the freaking Girl Boss group. Do you understand that? My low was because they said no. And my high was because I had the best volume in the week out of a couple thousand coaches. And so for me, that was hard still for me to take, because it didn't connect for me. And I remember getting to the point and be like, and I'm venting some of this, and I'm bawling while I'm messaging her this. And she's like, it's like you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. You're going to have people that just love the Shakeology. Great for you. That's volume. That's extra money for your family. I bet that's really important. And here I am paying off some debt that was huge for us at that time. We needed that money. And so for me, I didn't need those coaches. I needed that volume, and I needed that commission. And for me, that was important. That was important for my family, where we were at that point in the summer. And that sprung true for me. And then her next comment was, as we're, developing through, she's like, do you fully believe in this business? And I said, absolutely. She's like, you're not posting that. I just looked through your page. You're sharing, you're doing motivational, but it's time that you start just posting about the business, posting how much that's improved for you. And again, this is where I am in my stage of my coaching and where I was. I needed that. I needed that big time. I needed that in my face, and it was very real, and it was very true. And she kind of helped me post like a couple posts. My very first one, when I did that number one, she helped me draft it. I was so thankful for her for that help. And then right after I got off the phone or off the message with her, I called Jen and totally had my full breakdown again. But it was just that point where it was like, there I was at my high and my low at the very same time, which was crazy to me. And that's how this week was. I hit number 9. I haven't sold a thing. No SC points, nothing. But I had 435 volume points because I had 4 HD customers returning, and then I had my HD order, which was another 90. And then I had a return of an HD on demand that, a returning customer just didn't want. That got me to 435. That got me to number 9 on the Girl Boss Dynasty group. So that brought me $180, guys. That brought me $180. No team volume, whatever. $180 was just my commission from my returning customers that love Shakeology that don't want the discount. So for me, that's become really real for me, where it's, yeah, do I want to hit Emerald? Do I want to go move forward in my business? Heck yeah. But you know what? It's my journey. It's going to help my family, this income. And I get emotional. You all know this, but I have to let that be it, right? I have to be okay with that and know that it's part of my roller coaster, and my roller coaster may take different turns than somebody else, and I just have to let it happen and just be okay with it and not give up and just keep posting and just keeping me. I can't be anybody else. I have to just be me. So, and today was even my low. I was about ready to cry before I got on this call because I haven't hit AC. I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm failing, and it's just me getting back into my own head. So just hearing you girls talk is refreshing for me, because it's our journey. We have to be okay with it. And even me just saying this helps me process it a little bit more. But you just have to keep going. If you believe in this business, it's going to happen. It's not going to happen on our time, girls. You know this. It's not going to happen when we want it. It's going to happen at the right time when we desperately needed it. And we won't know when that is until it happens. And we look back and be like, thank God. Oh my God, it couldn't have happened at a better time. It couldn't have happened. And you just have to believe that it's gonna be there.
I mean, the flip side of that is, Jaylene, you kind of hit the nail on the head. When you start comparing yourself, that's when the lows happen, at least for me. And Jaylene, being so close to me, is always the one that I start comparing myself to. So I'm like,
it's likewise, Jenna.
What the F? Come on, for the love of God. She's top 10 again? Can girl, get in the top 10 over here? And Jenna, but you have coaches and the volume's there. And I'm like, well, BS, I'd like the big paycheck. That's what I would like. So I think, like, I hope you guys took a lot of really good points away from that, from Jaylene, because
And you.
well, maybe only a couple from me, mostly from Jaylene, because it really does hit the nail on the head there. And like I said, just knowing that why and letting that be stronger, even in those lows, know that those lows are going to come. It's going to happen whether you're in Beachbody or not, right? And how do you pull yourself out of that, you know? And it's knowing why you're here, you know, like, that's why we're all here, no matter what those lows are. So just, you know, you just got to kind of hop on for the ride, and don't give yourself deadlines, because it's not an overnight thing. I mean, for me, I like to have deadlines, but when I don't meet them, don't let that become your low because you didn't meet that deadline. Let it, like Jaylene, I think you posted about like the failing forward or something like that. Let it be your way to move yourself forward. Like, okay, I wanted to hit diamond before I went to summit. Like, I wanted to be at summit and wake up as diamond. Guys, I'm still not a diamond, you know, like, it's just not time, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop. So I'm always like striving to do these really good things, because it's not going to stop me from moving forward. All it's going to do is like keep moving forward, you know? So let those lows and let that dip in the roller coaster drive you forward.
It's so true. I'm near the end of finishing Failing Forward, the book, and listening to audio, and that's kind of the point. It's like, when you're at your low, use it. What can you learn from it? And what do you need to change? What needs to happen? And they give so many amazing stories about people that just persevered through their low, that didn't use their low as an excuse to quit, but use their low to try something new and try something different. And that's definitely my big takeaway from the book is, if something's not working one way, okay, I got to try something else. You know, don't give up on it. And even for me, even today, I found myself relooking at the goals that Jen had us posting, our vision board and our 10 goals. And I just remember kind of sitting down and be like, I need to like be present, and I need to read through these, and I need to revisualize these goals, not just read them and be done, but like picture it in my head and take those extra couple minutes just to really relook at that. And I find that when I am in my low, that's when those become so important. Yeah, they're going to be great to enjoy when we're in our high, but when we're in our low, it's going to be great to remind us why we're doing this and why it's so important to us, in so many reasons, for our health, for our families, for our business, for our future. There's so many reasons, because we all have such amazing goals and so many reasons why. And that definitely needs to be the most important, that we look at that and use that to push us through. So
we've got less than a minute left, so I don't want to cut anybody off, but if you guys have any questions, maybe post them in the group so that other people can see them too. But thanks for hopping on, ladies, and have a good night. Bye.